Today we're going to talk about reading disinfectant labels and calculating ppm, which is parts per million. We're going to talk about our new Charlotte calculation chart and product listing, which, because a lot of the questions we get are really, what's the ppm of this specific product, okay, and what's the ppm of this product? And of course, all that's been highlighted in the last 9 months because of COVID-19. And so we've got a series coming where we're going to talk about the chemistry behind, the calculations and the chemistry behind the cleaners. And we're going to talk about some of the ingredients that go into it and the effect of pH and things like that, all as it relates to lowering the risk of an outbreak and really tackling COVID-19 and making sure you're using the right product and the right application. So we've been asked by many people to do that, and we're going to add a 10-minute segment in there. This is our first here, so we may have a few bumps in the road, but we'll certainly get to that. And by the way, submit your questions, submit your topics as well. Because if there's something you really want to know, look, that's what we're here for, and we'll be sure to share it in a near future webinar because we're going to continue these. So with that being said, obviously, Happy New Year, happy safe New Year. Really, our whole goal is about precautions and guidance for ensuring a healthy year, not only in January, but right through to infinity, as a matter of fact there. So I just want to talk a little bit about 2020. And then I promise I'm probably not going to go back to it again because, quite honestly, I don't want to go back to it again. But it almost seems like a bad dream. It almost seems like yesterday March was here and we ended up in chaos and we've lost a lot of lives and a lot of illness, and it's a shame. But it almost seems like a bad dream. But believe me, it's not a dream. It is bad. But we all thought that the virus would go away and it wouldn't affect each one of us. And our world would get back to normal relatively quickly. Well, guess what? We were wrong. In fact, we're still not out of it. There's still some massively dark days, probably in the next 2 months, that we're going to face and go through. Really, because quite honestly, some people just didn't get it. Somehow they maybe thought they were exempt following the guidelines and protective protocol and stuff. And believe me, I know some of the statistics in Canada alone is 50% of the people traveled at Christmas and visited with friends and relatives and whatever. And you know what? If it's 1%, that's a whole lot better. But when it's 50, that's really across the board. Even we're all messing up. Some of us may have got away with our issue, but many did not. And that's really the sad part of the whole situation. So if there was ever a time for common sense and worldwide joint efforts, I would say this is obviously the time without question. So just follow the things we're supposed to. And yeah, it's a little inconvenient. In fact, it's majorly inconvenient, but if we do that, it's better off for every one of us. I want to talk a little bit about some of our manufacturing achievements in 2020. Charlotte invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in production equipment, in automation and efficiencies, all for our customer, all for lowering the risk of an outbreak. We secured a second building for warehousing, increasing raw material inventories, all of those things that we had shortages of, and I'm not saying we're not going to have them again because we may, but corrugated plastics and triggers and caps and bottles, that allow us to constantly feed our lines. So a huge investment in securing a second building just for that. We increased the number of people, our employees, we ramped up our training, we ramped up our COVID protection protocol and things like that. We ran 20-hour days, 6 days a week over the last months. We've ran some Sunday shifts and things in there. And quite honestly, we came to the table with that and invested in that. The other thing too is hopefully January 22nd, I don't take this for black and white for sure. We're hoping to update everyone on our production facilities, but it's looking like it'll be closer to the middle of February for us to tour through the plant with Asquith and I, which we did in the March when it was freezing cold. And we'll bring you up to speed and show you our cappers and our tanks and all of those specific things that we did. So we invested in that, right? We registered 14 disinfectants from March the 1st, basically area there, that are now on the Health Canada list effective for COVID-19. That is 14 disinfectants that we didn't have in January or February last year. So we ramped up and did that. So you've got pretty well anything you need. We introduced our ES15, our ready-to-use Health Canada registered spray and wipe disinfectant in March of 2020. Okay, it's been our #1 seller. I mean, that's been a savior, as a matter of fact, to get out to people and things like that. We began in March the 13th our virtual educational webinar series. Okay, that is, we thought, how do we pass our message along and educate our customers? We can't go visit them anymore. So that's where we invested in this recording studio inside. And we really got our team together and said, how do we do this from an IT perspective, from science, from our lab, from our marketing teams, the whole entire works there. And I mean, you know, and that's really, this is our 32nd session today, right in a row, our 32nd session. And we'll talk about that a little at the end and revisit where you can find some of that material. We implemented a disinfectant allocation program all through the peak times, the highest stress point times throughout the spring and the summer, that made sure that we had a allocation program for disinfectants that every single customer got something, got constant supply. That is something we're extremely proud of, right? We acted extremely fast, okay? Some 2021 precautions. Just because the new year, the date changed doesn't mean COVID-19's gone away. In fact, you know, we are going to have a resurgence. They're not even rumors anymore. You know, it's a third wave. I know originally we talked about a first wave and then maybe a second wave and now a third wave. And I know just in the US alone yesterday, there was about 4,500 loss of lives there. And that's not going to peak for another 30, 45, 60 days or so. It's critical we don't lower our guard. It's critical that we don't just rely on a vaccine to save us when we get sick. I mean, you know, you don't stop washing your hands when you get the flu shot, okay? You don't stop, you know, covering your mouth and using Kleenex and using sanitizer when you get the flu shot. So the scary thing is maybe people are thinking this vaccine, then they're untouchable and the whole works, and I just throw that precaution out, okay? You know, we've got to have patience. We've got to, I mean, I had some experiences there personally with people that were really not in good moods, you know, and lost patience and very impatient and things. And, you know, just let's smile a little bit. Let's help people, you know, and just help us get through this stressful time, because whether it's financial or wellness or whatever it may be, I mean, we're all in a different boat there, right? Mask, distancing, washing hands, hand sanitizer, testing. I mean, these all play a critical role as well. And you're going to see our industry change, just like our airline industry and things, right? A couple of things come in 2021. We are working on shorter dwell time disinfectants. They're in for registration now, as a matter of fact. We've got a sustainable industrial program coming that can help you clean and disinfect your warehouse floors, your concrete floors and things like that in a very sustainable way, something that's just going to be an exciting program. We're reintroducing our diamond polishing honing program for concrete and terrazzo, which eliminates the use of a lot of sealants and harsh products to remove them and stuff, all of those things, and also seals the pores and things that the bacteria and the viruses don't get down in there as easily, and that makes it safer for everybody. You know, we've got a digital imaging program, which is an in-depth visual awareness of hot points on surfaces that's coming. I mean, we cannot wait to launch that particular program, because it's really a visual area instantaneously, really, where you look and you say, there's an issue, so let's address that with our cleaning protocol. Okay, we're going to continue our virtual educational webinars. There's new topics coming due to popular demand, and again, we encourage you to bring those in. There's going to be ongoing new product development and innovation. Like I said, today's our first 10 minutes of technical expertise there. And basically throughout, we're going to have a major focus on cleaning efficiencies throughout facilities that will help every single one of you, regardless whether you're small, medium, large, or whatever you are, okay, whatever type of facility you're in. Today, we're going to talk about the importance of measuring quat and disinfectants and ppms. And again, as we've done year long, we've listened to you well. We've fielded all of your calls, all of your questions, tried to basically lower the stress levels and help you really lower the risk of an outbreak. So this is something that we've got that is coming. And we'll talk about that a little more in Asquith session. But this is a complete guideline on the importance of measuring disinfectants and PPMs. And actually on the back, which is really exciting, because this is some of the calls that we get, is what's my PPM of ES364 or ES15 or whatever. And these are going to be instant visual shots that are available to you, available on the website very soon, that can help you clean better, okay, help you keep your employees and facilities safer. You know, and one of the big things, and I know it's some of the questions I believe coming in today already, is how do I control PPM variance? So in other words, how long does my solution last, or what are the tips for controlling that, whatever? And we're going to have a back and forth with Asquith about that, okay? So a couple of things I'll talk about education before we get Asquith on here is this is unbelievable information for anybody of any age, any type of trade that they're in, whether it's at commercial or your home, doesn't matter what it is. This information is unbelievable for every single one of you. We're not taking it down. It's on the website. If you go onto our Charlotte website, you'll see right up in the top programs, it's highlighted in green, and you drill down to infection prevention. If you click on that, every single one of our webinars, just like this screenshot, will come up. Okay, March 13th, our very first one, and you can see it's understanding coronavirus. Okay, on March the 20th, we talked about how to prevent coronavirus. March the 27th, how to understand reservoir transmission. So you can see all of the titles that you have here. Every single one of these are between 30 and 45 minutes long, with YouTube videos and some demos and things like that. And if you haven't visited every one of those, you're not really doing yourself justice and your team around your facilities, because there's so much knowledge here. It's unbelievable. So, I mean, one-stop knowledge really right on this website, ready to go. You can see we go on May the 22nd was at washroom cleaning efficiencies. If we go to June the 26th, effective floor care programs during challenging times such as COVID. So all of these topics are here. And right up until the last one we did, which we're really proud of, we managed to talk Mr. and Mrs. Claus to come in and see us, which really brightened our life there, as a matter of fact. So really, those things are all there. And like I said, if you really don't want to watch the whole webinar, you can go on our video section on that same top tab, and all of the YouTube videos are there for you. Okay, so the one I really want to point out that's particularly of interest is this one, is our post-coronavirus on May the 8th, by the way, which is our return to work protection strategy. We talked about safeguards. We talked about all of, I mean, you remember when nobody knew what an arrow was on a floor, a distancing or a directional arrow and things. Nobody knew really the protocol of masks and distances and things. And these are some of the things here that some businesses will be going back. Some are calling employees back. If they're not doing it right now, they will in the near future. And these are areas that you can really brush up your skills on. What do I need to do when we do go back to work? Okay. So every employee can participate. It'll improve healthy environments. It'll actually teach you how to respect personal workplaces and joint shared common areas such as lunchrooms, break rooms, restrooms, those types of things. And it's really its goal, its aim is to stop the spread of the virus within the facility and avoid taking it home to your family. And what is more important than that? I know at Charlotte, we put in unbelievable protocol. In fact, we've just enhanced it. I think Asquith will talk a little bit about it in a few minutes there, where it's more stringent. Yeah, and I mean, it's a little weird to get used to, and it's a little inconvenient at times, but you know what? It's the right thing to do. And that's what we're here to do, is really the right thing to do. Okay, so with that being said, we're going to go to our 10 technical minutes. This is our first time we're going to do this. This is Asquith Williams, who we rely on for his level of expertise. Without question, we're going to talk about reading disinfectant labels, calculating PPM, and some things like that. And we're going to continue with understanding industry terms and gaining education. So we'll actually tie that into our question and answer period. And just before we go to that, our next webinar is going to be Friday, January this 22nd. So earmark that in your bookmark that in your calendars, and away we go from there. So anyway, that's everything from here, and let's get to our 10 technical minutes. And Mr. Williams, you're with us today.
Hey, thank you, Jimmy.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm great. Well, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Yes,
too.
I'll social
Happy
distance
New Year
from you
to
back
all
here.
The all us, all our listeners and our viewers. Today, we're going to talk about keeping your facilities properly disinfected.
Yes.
And in order to do this, you must have proper dilution control.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So a couple of things that we're going to start off with is by saying, when you look at your label, every single label that we've got will have a active ingredient list. In that active ingredient list, which you would probably, I don't know if you can see that here, but it's on every single label. So that is very, very important to see. Now, a couple of things that we must establish first is, just a few quick equivalences. For instance, 1%, if you can see that, is equal to 10,000 parts per million. Okay, I got a better
I think we may have a few hiccups, Asquith. Okay. We may have a few hiccups today.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
it's all
we just set you up, actually.
It's live. It's live.
Yeah.
1% is equal to 10,000 ppms. That's critical. We must also know, and I think most of us do know that a gallon, 1 gallon, 128 ounces. So those are critical things that we must know. Okay. So when we've got a label like this that says something along the lines that 2 ounces per gallon, what does that mean? So 2 ounces per gallon, we know for sure that the active ingredients on this list has the active ingredients. In this case here with ES364, if you look at the active ingredients on that list, you will see, I'll add them up here, you get 8.77%. That's the active ingredients. The others, the rest of the 91+% of all those things would be considered inert ingredients.
And that's my concentrate bottle.
That's your concentrate bottle, the way it comes from Charlotte products.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay. So now, if the use directives here for disinfection tells you that you need 2 ounces per gallon. So basically, what that means is you're going to have 8.77% times 2 ounces.
Yeah, you wrote that percentage twice there, up above 2.
Ounces.
Yeah.
OZ.
Yeah.
Okay. OZ over 128 OZ times
10,000.
10,000.
Okay.
If this, in some instances, you've got 8 ounces per gallon, if you're looking at perhaps doing something to do with athlete's foot or something.
Yeah.
So you'll change that as well. So just to do the quick math, so 8.77 times 2 over 128 times 10,000. That's equal to somewhere in the neighborhood, it's 14, 16. 1370.
070. Okay.
ppms.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what I'm looking for when I do my dilution.
Okay.
And to confirm that, what we'll have to do is look at our quat concentration identification tags.
Okay.
So, you made me up some solution here, and I'll see how accurate you're working.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you're putting me on the spot here now. Right? It better be there.
Let's see how accurate you are.
Yeah. Geez, I think it's easier for me to just dip that than it is that calculation aspect.
And Jimmy, you're right. You're right on.
Yeah.
You can see here, if I can get over to the camera here, you can see that Jimmy actually did the dilution right.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you. I did that by hand actually too.
Well, you got a good hand, Jimmy.
All of those years of doing that. So that's a pretty.
So that gives you a good idea as to concentrations and why it's so critical to measure these things properly.
Yeah. Now, what happens if, say, you've called all of the science behind the label is calling for 1,370 ppm?
Yes.
What happens if we're 1,500 or we're 1,100? What are we doing?
If you're 1,100, then you're not meeting the spec, and then you fail. Yeah, because you're not getting the clean and efficacy that you require to kill the pathogens that's on the list.
Yeah, and everything that it says it'll kill is on the label.
It's on the label. Okay. Absolutely.
So let's take it the reverse side. So if I'm 1,500 or whatever, okay, so I'm rich because I'm disinfecting. So I really want to make sure I'm killing. What's my advantage there?
Well, there's no real advantage. There's no real advantage. The disadvantage is that you're too rich and you're wasting product.
Yeah, and I'm not killing anything more.
You're not.
You can't kill more than 100%.
You can't kill more than 100%.
No,
exactly.
Okay. I'm probably getting a side effect of a residual.
Yeah,
because I've got a little bit stronger.
Because really, quats are surfactants.
Yeah.
You know, so you may leave a residue. So you want to be on, because remember, there's a lot of work that goes into this.
Yeah, there's no question there. So, well, what I like Asquith is I like your math, but you know what I think you should introduce to them?
What's that?
You should show them the new brochure that does all that math for you.
Right, that is also true.
As a matter of fact, and just show them this chart.
Well,
okay, great.
And then so you've got this chart.
Yeah.
This chart will do all this work because we've already done all of that stuff for every possible dilution that you may have.
What we call that is a JF, right? So you've gone to all that calculation.
I did all that, and we've got all done.
We've had it all done for you.
This is how it's done.
Yeah, but that's unbelievable knowledge to know, because I mean, how many people would actually know that in the industry?
Well,
very few, right? You know,
well, all our Charlotte people, but
yes, they do there. But what's important about these sessions is our job is to really teach others, educate others, transfer that knowledge to others. So look, if they can't get a hold of us, or they need a spontaneous answer, and Health Canada's at the door, or Public Health, or there's an outbreak or something, then they've got this bit of information that they can make intelligent decisions. So that's great, and that's really the thought behind the 10 technical minutes. Is really, we'll cover, I see us covering, positive emulsion and gelating agents and surfactants and pH maybe a little bit more, and some real science behind those particular
and why we
things.
need to do things properly. Right?
Yeah, and I hope the crowd really, our participants, ask us for what they want us to cover as well, because it's just not, it's just not us.
Yes, we will. You tell us what you like to see, and we'll do it for you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Well, that's excellent. Well, that's about our 10 technical minutes there. I think we've got some questions and answers coming in there. So, Asquith, if you want to take your seat over there, and we'll do our social distancing. And I will. I know our questions are coming in. Thank you very much. Okay. I may need my glasses for this. This is very practice. Chris doesn't type very big or write very big or whatever there. So, but Asquith, Friday the 8th. 30-second consistent webinar. What do you think?
Imagine that.
Yeah.
That went by pretty fast.
Yeah, and I remember we sort of convinced you to do 2 of them, and the next thing you know, we're 32 of them there, and the whole works. But thanks for your contribution and things there, because it's important, right? I mean, what's really good is there's sales representatives all across North America. There's infection control officers, there's food service officers, there's compliance officers, there's the custodians, the janitors, the caretakers, Mr. and Mrs. Mum. I mean, there's everybody watching and really learning, as a matter of fact, and that makes us feel pretty good about it there. So let's get right into the questions here. Here's one from Georgia. I've purchased several of your ES pump-up sprayers. That's my favorite. Okay.
Those are your toys, Jimmy.
That's my toy for sure. I didn't get one for Christmas, but anyway, I did have a little supply. If I apply a disinfectant through these, does it affect the ppm in any way? That's a good question.
Very good question.
Yeah.
And the answer is no.
Okay.
The ppm concentration is affected by a couple of things. The quality of the water.
Yes.
If you've got poor quality water, you could affect the concentration of the product.
Okay.
If, you dilute it down in poor quality water filled with organic matter or
iron minerals,
very hard water, those kinds of things will degrade the concentration of your quads. So So the answer to that, all things being equal, the delivery system does not affect the concentration of your quads.
Of your quad. So that's good. Well, that's and it is, one thing good, I guess, about it is it is a sealed container as well. So it's not exposed to contaminants coming in from outside as well. So it's probably not a bad thing to do there. Great. That's a good question, George. Charlene, can you explain a few things that we can do to avoid PPM reductions or variances? We use an open charge bucket.
Well, for the same reason we just described, hardness, water, a dirty mop, just not measuring the properly, having a good dilution control system.
Yeah.
Whether it's squeeze and pour, or having the correct pressures and so on in your dilution control system.
Yes, and that's good.
And also, though, you must always did exactly what we did just moments ago by using your dipstick really and making sure that you got the right.
Because that's really. That's the reassurance, right? That's the guarantee that that's what it is. And I guess I see, I'm just reading ahead here quickly. There's a lot of questions to do with those variances, right?
Really?
So
okay.
So we'll answer them each one. I think we owe it to them, but that brochure, I'll hold it up in a second there.
Well, I can hold it up.
Actually, if you can just pass it there. But one of the things that we've tied into that, which obviously I think the people are automatically going there, is the PPM variance. Okay, there are many of the things that will vary your PPM. So as far as an educational tool, I mean, contaminated mopping equipment, wet mops, buckets, and cloths that have not been cleaned or disinfected properly.
Oh yes, of course.
This is easily something that is overlooked in a facility.
Yes.
The end of the shift, we wheel all the equipment back in. We may rinse it out. Maybe we may empty it, not rinse it. We don't disinfect it. I mean, these are all key things that I think we need to know. So Charlene, that's right there, and that will be out local.
That's critical because by not having that, you affect the outcome of your end results.
Yeah, here's James. I work in a local healthcare facility. We use open charge buckets with our disinfectants. How often should we be changing the disinfectant solution?
Again, if it's visibly dirty, I say change it.
Yes.
For certain.
Yeah.
But you always check with your little dipstick to make sure that your concentration is accurate.
Yeah.
And if it's not, you dispose of it and do a fresh dilution.
Yeah, I think I know me. I've been around for a long time, and what it used to be in a healthcare facility is it used to be pretty standard protocol that after 5 rooms you changed it, or after whether you were doing patients' rooms or examination rooms, or maybe you were doing the floors or something. It was so many classrooms or whatever, and that did fine back in standard days, but obviously the risk is a little higher today. So what you're saying is what?
Check your concentration to make sure that your active ingredients are the right ppms as we just calculated there.
Yeah.
To make sure that we meet the efficacy that's required.
Yeah. Okay. So James, that's an excellent thing. I mean, your open charge bucket, actually every facility should be supplying them with every single custodian and janitorial person. I mean, because that's really their backup.
That's your backup.
Right? Is really what it is.
I mean, no sense having to be disinfectant is not doing this job.
Yeah.
Right?
No,
it's got to be efficacious, right?
You're either on or you fail.
Exactly.
There's no
middle
or buts. Here's Pauline. Are there different? Here's a good question. Are there different test strips for chlorine and quats, or are they the same?
And this is a very good question, because chlorine dipsticks or
test strips
totally different from quats. So the answer is correct. There's a difference between the two, and the two shall never cross over.
Yeah.
So we specify on the there you go. Yeah, on the test strips. Yes. So you've got test strips that would be like litmus test paper, would be for pHs and so forth, and then there's some for chlorine, and then there's some for quats, and so on and so on.
Peroxide
and so forth.
I think I look at that quickly. Does it not state QAC, which is quaternary ammonium
this one
compound,
says quats, yes,
and then the other's chlorine, isn't
that's
it?
correct.
So
this is chlorine, And it does specify that. Obviously.
Yeah. So important to read that. So Pauline, absolutely, there are different test strips without question. Make sure you read that. There are different ppm ranges too, correct?
Of course
so because some people, they may have a sanitizer that's only 200 ppm or 400 ppm, and
Quats.
then in quats, and then your 364 1370 as a matter of fact.
So for instance, a good example too. Say if you've got chlorine, using chlorine as your sanitizer, you're looking at about 100 ppms. If you're using a quat, you're looking at about 200 ppms. So they're different levels as well in terms of concentration.
Yeah, that's right. I know I was testing our Serve Clean sanitizer the other day, and it was dead on 200. It was just like that was a ready to use formula right out of the bottle.
Right out of the bottle.
Convenient. It's just good. Here's Jake.
Very stable product.
Yeah, for sure. Because I had that bottle. I've had that bottle probably 4 or 5 months. I know, and I've opened it before and whatever, and it was dead on. Here's Jake. How critical is the exact dilution of a disinfectant as compared to the actual ppm?
well, the actual ppm is more critical because you really want to know, because you're going to have a lot of variances. You could measure it wrong. The water pressure, if it's going through a dispensing system, could be low. It could be too lean, too rich, etc. So the end result is, using your test strip to make sure that's accurate.
So if you said something was 1 to 64, it would get you in the range, and then from there you double check the way you go, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, these are great questions.
1 to 64 is 2 ounces per gallon.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Here's Christine. Thank you for arranging Mr. and Mrs. Claus before Christmas. That was very exciting for our entire family and our children to watch. For the record, we've never washed and cleaned the carrots so well for the reindeer. That's pretty good, actually. Thank you, Christine, for that. That's a bit of a.
I hope that's perpetual. So.
Oh, geez, Mrs. Claus, I'll tell you, there was no escaping Mrs. Claus and what we were supposed to do for sure. And I know I did my part there. So here's Sarah. Will you be publishing the quick reference ppm guide soon for us to refer to? I believe it only lists ES products, Enviro Solutions. We understand that you also manufacture and distribute products for other North American distributors. Would you publish their ppm numbers as well?
Well, I think, Jimmy, that's a better question for you to answer.
Yeah, I would say.
I think you should answer that one.
Yeah, I think the right thing to do is, because I can tell you, I get confused. If I have to stop and calculate that, I'm a little confused. But if I can tell you, if it just says here, ES24C, it's a quat, dilution's 1 to 20, and I can tell you that the end use concentration should be 762 parts per million. Okay, I mean, I'm going to use that, not taking away from your math and your calculations, but Sarah, definitely we will do that, and we will reach out to others and make sure that we guide them with that, because look, we're all trying across North America to lower the risk, right? So we want to help them there.
The only way you can lower the risk is by doing the proper dilution to get the efficacy you're looking for.
Yeah, and then match it with the proper cleaning protocol, and you win. Here's Katrina. How long will a hand bucket typically remain effective with a food service sanitizer? Is there any way to know how fast the ppm will degrade?
Well, it's difficult to say how fast the ppm would degrade, but you go forward and you just follow the use instructions. They're ready to use.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
So again, it's just ppm and away you go.
Check with your quant.
Yeah, and that's Serve Clean ready to use, by the way. That's 200 ppm ready to go. Put a flip cap on, a trigger sprayer, pour it in a charge bucket, and you're ready to go. Which is great, because if you have if you have a lot of all it needs is, by law, it's a 60-second air time, and that's it, right?
That's it.
So that's if I'm
you clean first.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Rinse and then sanitize.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is no fragrance, no dye, whatever. Exactly. Actually, speaking about this, we have it in ready to use, which is convenient if you have a turnover of employees or some people that aren't comfortable diluting. We have it in a concentrate as well, and then we also have it in our dispensing system.
That's correct.
Our Serve Clean dispensing system, which we just did a video today. Yes. Oh, I like the new on-air button there. That's pretty good. That's what you've been watching there. So. Donna, thank you for continuing to educate us on ways to stay healthier and lower our risk. We appreciate it. That's great. Here's one. Are you bringing the golden $100 bill back soon?
Well, that's another good question for you, Jim.
Geez, I'll tell you.
I know that it's in high demand.
It is.
But you've been pretty stingy there.
Yeah, I have
So,
been. I actually took it away a little bit.
Are you going to bring it back?
Well, I had to print more.
Yeah. Are you going to bring it back?
I think, well, here's Matt. This is his name here. Are you bringing it back? Yeah, I think we'll bring it back.
Yeah, bring it back.
Sure. We'll bring it. So for those that don't know what we're talking about, that's that when we put it in sequence in the webinar, the first one that actually requests it gets it, right? And we've had lots of people across Canada and the US get it, actually.
That's correct.
There. So I was running low there.
So, will you?
Yeah, here's Dean. Is there currently a disinfectant spray buff solution, or is that something we may have in development?
Well, in development.
In development, yeah. What I would say is there's never been a disinfectant spray and wipe solution. Although saying that, I mean, look, we're in different times. It's something that innovation is our strength.
That's right.
Our second bullet right on our screen. What I would suggest in the meantime, though, is look, floors are a big reservoir. Everything that's in the air is, because of law of gravity, is going down to the floor, right? It gets transferred on your feet, on your briefcase, your purses, your rolling carts, doesn't matter what it is, all through your building. We've specifically designed, like your 364 is a neutral disinfectant.
That would be perfect for washing the floors.
That is great for cleaning and disinfecting floor surfaces without biting into the finish.
That's
right.
Yes.
Also can be used in auto scrubbers and stuff for your floor. So, but at the same time, Dean, you know what? We'll add that to our innovation list, because that's one of our true strengths of what we listen really well. I think 2 more questions. How's our time? How's our time here? Okay, good. Okay, we'll be a little shorter today because there's only a couple more questions that I got, but I could come up with many if you want. Here's Kathy. Here's Kathy. Do you have a COVID prevention program in place within your manufacturing facility? Have your employee members adapted to this, and do they believe it's a good thing? That's a great question.
Oh, no, it's a great question. We have a protocol, a COVID protocol in our facility. We've got a QR code on the outside of the door. You snap on that, you answer the questions properly. We've got a system whereby, we have you wear a mask, if you're within within the 6 foot distance. We have wash stations, sanitizers everywhere on every wall. Basically, we have a custodian coming by every half an hour, disinfecting all the touch points. We've got a pretty good cleaning and disinfection protocol as well. So yes, we
that was Kathy. That. Yes. So, and traceability. I'm assuming, and things like that.
And I tell you this too. We've got even thermometer bracelets.
Oh, yeah.
That every single employee wears.
Yeah. I forgot actually to wear mine today, but maybe we'll wear it next time and show them.
Yes.
But yeah, you should spend it, tell them what it is. I mean, it's
a bracelet that basically tells if it's green, that means you're within your normal body temperature. If it's yellow or red, then chances are that you've got a fever. A fever is a very good indicator of someone who may have COVID.
Yeah, or the flu or something else, right?
And they should not be on the premises.
Yeah.
They should be at home.
So all of our employees have that?
All of our employees.
Really? That's good. I think that was maybe a little bit of a Christmas gift we gave to them or something there in appreciation.
Did that at Christmas time,
Yeah, I was doing some other things in here today, so I took mine off so it didn't get damaged, but I think it's in one of the offices there. But that's good, so that's a good question. I mean, what I do know is, like I said, I think I even said it earlier on the webinar, it's a little inconvenient, some of the things we have to do, but you know what? It's the right thing to do. It just simply is the right thing to do, right? And we'll get used to it. I heard an individual talking the other day about the masks, and they were really inconvenient in the beginning, and they still are a little bit today, depending on the one that you've got, because now it's more important to have the 3-ply and have the one that's soft and fits your face. It's like a pair of shoes, right? Some shoes fit better than others. But once you get the right mask, you may have to invest a little bit more or whatever. You'll wear it and it'll really become just like putting your socks on or your shirt on or something like that. But I heard an individual talking and saying that they really think, and this is a scientist, that we're probably going to, it's probably going to be part of our regular dress attire for the.
I would think that we'll have to wear the mask at least till the end of 2021.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just a guess on my side, but I would think so. I think you're right on the money there.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and you know, for sure. And I know it's a little bit different and things like that, but I mean, what I do know is look, we're in tough for 30 to 60 days here with the effects of Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's, and if you talk about the U.S., the elections, and you know, people not wearing masks, and then same in Canada and same in the world actually.
Yes,
you know, whatever there, and look, if you look in the mirror, it's our fault, the one looking back at you, if you didn't follow the protocol. So we've got 30 to 60 days of tough, dark times. And I think, but if we all row the boat in the same direction and follow this, we'll be okay.
And follow the three principles, John.
Yeah.
You know,
what are they?
Basically, you know, hands, face, space.
Yeah.
Wash your hands regularly.
Yeah.
Wear your mask.
Yeah.
And the social distance.
Yeah. I think we got time for one more, and this is Scott. You talked about this once before, and you mentioned doing a session on your most recent production efficiencies in your facility. Will you be covering this topic sometime this year?
Yes, we will. I would say in a couple of months, you know, once we get some time and so forth, you and I can do that, Jim.
Well, last year we did it in March, I believe, and I remember it was about minus 25 outside.
It was chilly.
And it was cold, right?
Was cold.
And I don't want to stand out there, so I like your couple of months because it was minus 11 this morning.
You're not as young as you used to.
I know I'm not as young, and I don't have as dark a hair, as a matter of fact. And the camera's on you right now, and you're against the dark background, which really helps you a lot. The gray hair come out there, but we'll do that. We'll do that, you know, for sure. So anyway, in a wrap up there, this new guide is going to be available very soon. We've just got to do some spell check and things, and Asquith's going to verify, double check our calculations to make sure they're right, because you can see there's obviously on the board it's a little bit technical, but this is just our way of really helping you help people in your facility stay safe and lower the risk of an outbreak. So with that being said, closing remarks, Asquith, or Friday, January the 8th, 2021.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Already. Yes. Again, as I said, keep washing your hands, wear your mask, practice social distancing.
Yeah.
And that will lower the risk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then one thing I would say is be kind. Try to go out of your way for people, and just, you know, have a little bit more tolerance, I guess the word. I mean, I've ran into some people that aren't as friendly and aren't as, you know, I don't know, I guess, accommodating, I guess, before. I mean, and things like that. I know, especially now, there's lockdowns in regions all across the world, and curfews and all of those things. So when you are limited to go out, but when you go out, just be kind, you know, to each other there. And
I agree.
And my second tip would be obviously tune in to our webinars on a bi-weekly basis. Take that knowledge and run with that knowledge. If you have questions and still a little bit of questions or mystery around some things, I mean, that's what we're here for. That's exactly what we're here for.
Or anything new that they'd like to see.
Yeah. So with that being said, we'd like to sign off, and stay safe and stay healthy, and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2021, and we'll see you back again on Friday, January the 28th at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Or 22nd, sorry. I think I said 28th. Friday, January 22nd at 1 o'clock EST time. Thank you very much. Stay safe.
Stay safe.